We have some board members here from the Florida Keys Children's Shelter, and each one of them is going to tell us what they do here, how they participate, and what the great children's shelter effort does in our community. So we'll start with Kathy here right away. So take it away, Kathy.
Thank you. My name is Kathy Toole, and I'm the CEO of the Florida Keys Children's Shelter, which is a wonderful organization, 20 years old. We provide shelter in 3 locations, in this facility in the Upper Keys and in 2 small programs we have down in Key West, and we do street outreach and we do community-based counseling. But our mission is to ensure safe kids, healthy families, and safe communities. And we work very hard to make sure that all kids in our community have a safe place to be if they need that, and people to talk to about what their issues are.
Excellent. You want to introduce us to this young lady? She's on your board, is she not?
Yes, she is.
Remarkable.
Yes.
Reach
Thank
across
you. Okay, my name is Marina K. Wyatt. I'm 16 and I go to a high school here in the Keys. And basically the board has a student representative to kind of help get from a kid's point of view, since they work with children around my age. So I kind of just help them get a children's perspective.
That's remarkable that they have your input. It's good. I think it's a wise thing to do, don't you, Colonel?
Oh, I think it's great.
Could you introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, sir. Colonel Rick Ramsey.
Okay.
I'm with the Sheriff's Office and on the board member. New board member, just started sometime end of last year. So
you look
it's
old.
yeah, well, thank you. But no, she's been wonderful. We get the perspective, and she gets a chance to have full input, full say. Everything she says, we care, we listen. She's equal to us when she's there and does a great job for us.
That's excellent. How do you feel like the effect over the years you're a new board member, what's happened with these children in the community as a result of this continuing effort, which is over 20 years old?
Well, I can say from the Sheriff's Office, I've been in the Sheriff's Office for 23 years, so I've been here the entire time we've had the shelter. And for us, it's just a saving grace. They do such a fabulous job. You know, we're the first person that's likely to encounter a lot of kids in the streets who need services, need help, or in some situation in their family. And Kathy is just so wonderful, so great to work with. You know, the services she provides, just a place here where we can bring somebody and help them to get back into society or deal with a situation in a home. Without them, we'd be lost. Without them, we'd have to be either bringing them to Miami or some other places which wouldn't be so close to home or have the ability to really deal with their situation local.
Very good. Well, in one word, what will we say about this place? Hope is a good word?
That's a great word. I think so.
I think
Absolutely.
hope's a good word.
It's a wonderful word.
Thank you all very much.
Our
It's been
pleasure.
great.
Very well.
It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to be here to meet with
you.
y'all. And hopefully, hope will continue.
It will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Florida Keys Children's Shelter is not a big organization, but we pride ourselves on making a difference in the kids' lives that we do address.
This is serious business.
It
Very
is.
serious business.
It's a home of last resort for parents with troubled children and children with troubled parents. It goes both ways, and it's not an easy thing to do in a small town like this.
No, well, please introduce yourself
Oh.
again first. That's okay.
My name's Kurt Rockenbach. I've been board chair for the Florida Keys Children's Shelter for 3 years and hope to be there a couple more years. Been doing this for about 5 or 6, I believe.
Well, he does some great work, and he does some serious work that helps a lot of kids. Tell us about, I heard you earlier talking about this being a launching pad for higher education for these children that really need to have some positive education influence in their life.
We, this is born out of a challenge that you have in a small community to bring the highest quality care to these children. And with shrinking state funds and growing concerns for children and where they're going to go in the future, we had to secure the best means to bring the best care to them. So Kathy Toole has always had this dream of being able to raise the level of education that the kids receive, or the counseling that they receive while they're here. And what we've begun is an education initiative where we're teaming up with colleges to be able to have tenured professors come for counselors that are in their graduate and doctorate phase to get the education that they need to get their doctorates. And through Janie Miller's work, we're teaming up with the colleges, and we're being able to get the inroads. It's just the very beginning now. They've secured funding to do studies on it and how we would go about doing it, but there's a lot of infrastructure that's needed, and it's a long-term goal for us, and it's going to really change the face of this shelter, but it's also a model that can be used nationally to change a lot of kids' lives.
That's great. Everybody can learn from everybody, and we'll go around in circle. In one word, I always ask everybody tonight, one word, what do you think comes out of your effort? Stacy gave us the word power. Give me your word out of your heart and your soul, what you think this does for these children.
Peacefulness. Peace for a night or for a week, and peace that I'm giving back. What I was fortunate to be given was a really good upbringing with my parents, to give something back to the kids.
That's a powerful word, too. Well, thank you very much. I'm very
you.
proud of your work. And
Me too.
I can feel the emotion here. It's heavy duty.
Yeah, it's okay.
I was a kid once.
Yeah, me too. Long time
God
ago.
bless you. Man, you're doing great work.
God
Thank you
bless.
so much.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Tell us how you feel and what's up.
My title is Chief Financial Officer, but because you have to do multitasking, I'm also in charge of IT and human resources. So I'm rather busy, and what I do is try and juggle all the beans so that we can pay for all the wonderful things we do, because we do it for free. There are no charges for our services.
Where do most of the funding come from for your efforts here?
We get funded about 70% from state, federal, and county, and every year we have to raise about 30% of our budget from the private sector. And we've been very fortunate to live here in the Keys, so a lot of generous people, but it is hard to do.
Yeah, it's tough in a small community. I've been here a long time myself, and people that do these kind of jobs are walking a real tight rope, aren't you?
Absolutely, especially the last couple of years with the economy down, the state and federal government's cutting back. So we've lost several $100,000 in funding.
Have you been able to maintain your level sufficiently?
We absolutely have, and actually in some ways we've improved because it forced us to become more efficient.
Well, you know what they say about the necessity is the mother of invention.
It certainly is.
Well, we thank you for doing your great work here. We wanted to catch you before we left, and if you have one word about the efforts that go on here, that come out of your heart and your being, could you give us what one word you would have for this effort here?
Oh, one word, huh?
Two.
Okay.
Three.
It's a necessity. It's giving the basic comforts of life to troubled kids and their family and getting them to reunite. And I can't condense that in my mind into one or two words.
Okay. I feel a lot of emotion coming out of you when you said that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not tough on me. It's tough on the kids, and when you see the families and kids, and it's just unbelievable. It's just terrific when you get that success story.
Necessity, another good word. Thank you so much for your efforts.
Thank you.
Proud to have you as part of our community.
Thank you.
Good night.